everybody. We're here for a little fireside chat with me, Steve, and Ozzie from IntelliGRC. We wanted to do something special for Cybersecurity Awareness Month starting in October. So as of the posting of this, it'll be October 2nd. So just wanted to give a little quick welcome and a short intro for me and Ozzie before we get into some of the stuff that we're talking about. So Ozzie, why don't you introduce yourself? Everybody kind of already knows me a little bit from this stuff.
Sure. I'm Ozzie Saeed, the founder and CEO of IntelliGRC. Background has been mostly in government, doing a lot of cybersecurity work in that space, but also I've been a proud voice with Steven here for the small business community and defense industrial base for all things CMMC.
Love
and
those
now
smalls.
Trying to help the MSPs tackle that market as well.
Yeah, and I'm Steve again. You guys have maybe seen me on the podcast and stuff like that and other webinars that we do. I'm one of the GRC consultants here. I just love this stuff. Again, helping the smalls and the mediums and the larges. There's some complex issues that are fun to tackle with the large businesses.
Agreed.
We're dealing with some right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so really quickly about who we are, IntelliGRC. We are, and I'll let you add anything you want to.
Sure.
IntelliGRC is a SaaS GRC application that's been heavily niched. We do support a lot, but heavily niched on the DIB, trying to support the DIB, the defense industrial base, trying to help those DoD contractors and their MSPs, especially here recently. We've been really focusing on trying to do our best to help them. So we're a SaaS application. We do have some services as well that we do to support not just the development of our application, but just try to help people get through their everyday GRC needs. So that's part of what we do. Anything you want to add there?
Yeah, no, I mean, just wanted to touch on, when we started IntelliGRC, we were focused on the smalls only. We did some grant funding work with the NIST MEP organization in the state of Virginia, but I think that story of every time we were dealing with these smalls, 7 out of 10 of them were saying, can you talk to my MSP?
Right.
And then we would engage with those guys and they would say, how do we do CMMC? And then they're like, teach us. And so then that's when I think we pivoted our company to realize that our ideal customer for IntelliGRC is the MSPs, because we think that's the best way to reach the smalls in the DIBs. So
yeah, the timeline, honestly, kind of ironic. The timeline for the 32 CFR being finalized, and even with the proposed rule, all the implications of external service providers back when there was that scare that external service providers were going to actually have to get certified themselves, it was going to be part of the requirement.
Oh yeah,
like that kind of went in line with just what we were hearing in the industry and realizing we as IntelliGRC are never going to know these people who are trying to help ever as much as their MSPs will.
100%.
So how do we help as many people as possible?
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. So just a couple expectations for what we wanted to go over today. The whole reason why we're doing this is, we're trying to keep the feelers out for everybody and let everybody know where we're at as a company. So some quick updates about IntelliGRC, some cool things that are going on in the product. We have our quarterly release notes and things like that, but we want to highlight some of those special things that have been really dear to our heart that we've been bringing out, and then just some quick FYSAs for the industry and the people that we're really trying to focus on helping. So let's talk about some company updates. Ozzie, do you want to talk at a high level about what's going on? But we'll get into other deeper things.
Yeah, so like IntelliGRC right now is seeing a ton of momentum and growth, especially on our product revenue side, because the MSPs are out there wondering and scratching their heads, do they even want to do this CMMC thing?
Yes.
Do they want to support CMMC or not? And I think there was a lot of fear, right, in the past, whereas now that we've seen what's coming out and how to handle external service providers and that there's multiple ways to address this, they're more receptive. So we're starting to see an uptick thanks to the new rule as well, right? You're seeing the uptick in interest.
How many do we get right after the 48?
Oh, man. Just on the website, I think we're getting
just got blasted.
Averaging a handful a day of people reaching out saying I need help, right?
Actual hot leads.
Oh yeah. So I mean, for that momentum right now, we are growing our team. We are trying to add more to our team on the sales marketing front, but as well as the product front to keep up with the customer demands.
Yeah.
We are hyper focused on solving the pain points our customers bring to us.
Yeah.
And so right now I am raising a seed capital for the company. We're raising a seed round. We should be closing that here in the next few weeks. So that should help us fund the next stage of growth.
Yeah.
And
super exciting.
Kind of help with our current momentum that we have.
Yeah, I'm excited about I mean, obviously the fundings is really cool to hear about and to see like how quickly we might be able to start knocking out some of these cool roadmap items that our roadmap is heavily influenced by our customers, but we've got a couple cool ideas ourselves too that we've been waiting to get funding and bandwidth for people to get that in the app.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I'm excited to see some of this stuff come. And we're going to talk about a couple of those things that we've already been able to bring to the app that's been on our heart. So just a couple notes about some events that we're going to be presenting at and being at. So CS5 is the big one everybody knows about. So October 16th and 17th, as everybody knows, we'll be at the Gaylord, ready to see everybody in the ecosystem. We are super excited to see some of our favorite vendors and partners, and we've got a lot of good friends in the environment. We don't really call them competitors. Competimates is our kind of our main title for people who are in the industry that might do some of the similar things that we do, right?
Yeah. I like to say different flavors of GRC tools.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
We're chocolate, they're vanilla, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we'll be at booth 25 for that one. Ozzie's going to be speaking alongside Chris Hay.
Yeah, Meerkat. Yeah,
Meerkat,
awesome guy.
Yeah, we're super excited. And then we're going to be in November at the ConnectWise IT Nation. Again, we're really focusing on those MSPs and their tool sets and their integrations and things like that. So helping them out as best as we can. So that's November 5th through the 7th in Orlando. We're super excited for that. And then we have the CMMC Liftoff event that is, I forget her name, Leah, yeah. Leah. Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, so CMMC Liftoff, there was only one event that took place last year. This year, Leia's gotten involved. She's an MSP that focuses on helping other MSPs with CMMC as well. So she's bringing the CMMC Liftoff focus this year to combine both OSCs and the DIB for CMMC, as well as MSPs supporting the DIB together. And so it's a kind of a mixture of like target audience being combination of OSCs and MSPs getting into CMMC.
Yeah, she's been awesome with like even trying to teach them from her services side, right?
Yep.
Like she has a whole program there too.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's another big one. And then finally, the last event that we'll be at least that's in our purview right now, is December 8th through the 10th. We'll be at the MGM for the MSSP Alert Live conference. So we're really excited for all these events coming up. Obviously, we'll be delving into what we're going to be planning for 2026 here soon, but that's what's coming up for the rest of the year. So let's talk a little bit about some really exciting news about our FedRAMP efforts. Many of you have known in conversations with us, or maybe some marketing that you've seen online, or whatever the case may be. We've been really heads down on our FedRAMP efforts. It's a huge deal, a huge pile of work. So you want to give us some updates on what's going on that front? Some pretty big things.
Yeah, for sure. So we had been spending the last year plus prepping for our FedRAMP moderate implementation in the spirit of the FedRAMP moderate equivalency and its challenges with not having an authorizing official or sponsor.
Not being real.
So we did hire FedRAMP 3PAO. We partnered with A-Line. And we just conducted our assessment last month, and that was good. We did pretty well so far. So they are currently working on the assessment details. We're anticipating our SAR, a draft SAR, in the next few weeks, and we should have our final body of evidence ready to go in November. But in parallel, we did a couple other things too. We actually took advantage of the FedRAMP 20X low pilot program.
Yep.
So we saw the phase. We were pretty excited about that opportunity. I think FedRAMP is moving in the right direction with that. So we jumped in on that, right? It's all about machine-readable content and giving a path to CSPs and getting on the FedRAMP marketplace. So we did do that. We submitted our package. This morning, we actually had our first orientation call with the FedRAMP PMO. So we anticipate in the next few weeks, we'll be listed on the marketplace as FedRAMP 20X low authorized. A-Line also did that assessment as well.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. And then on top of that, we are likely going to see by the end of Q4 that we will have two listings on the FedRAMP marketplace. We'll be on the 20X low side. Maybe potentially we'll do the moderate. We'll see on the 20X. But we will be listed as FedRAMP moderate ready on the FedRAMP marketplace. Yeah. And so
because we don't have that sponsor.
Exactly. So we'll show up as ready. And then we also took advantage of another opportunity, the GovRAMP, which is now called GovRAMP, used to be called StateRAMP. They created a fast track program, and that is basically adoption of your FedRAMP package, whether it's low, moderate, or high. And essentially the GovRAMP PMO becomes your sponsor on the GovRAMP marketplace. And so we did go ahead and start that process, kick that off. So as soon as we get our final SAR and risk assessment report from A-Line, we will be also working on that in parallel and hopefully listed on the GovRAMP marketplace as authorized. So that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about all the meetings, all the working sessions of creating documents, and Philip on our team pulling his hair out. I mean, he didn't have much hair to begin with. Yeah, that was a lot of work, but it was super fun. And like even the meetings with A-Line, kudos to A-Line. They were awesome.
Yeah.
They were super.
Did a great job.
Good to work. Good. They were awesome to work with, whatever that is. So
yeah, I will say shout out to our engineering team.
Yes,
they did a phenomenal job prepping for this. I mean, we're a full microservices architecture, all containerized, really no operating system really that we're managing, relying on Azure and inheriting as much as we can. And they did a phenomenal job at our architecture and our approach.
Yeah, we have 5 developers.
5 developers, and we pulled it off.
We pulled it off.
By some miracle, we pulled it off.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I mean, if you have any questions about the FedRAMP stuff, obviously touch base with Kyle or Charles on our team, your account managers. We would love to share what we can. And then when we have that SAR and when we have the body of evidence and we have the CRM, things like that, we'd be ready to go to share those things.
The intention is under an NDA. We will share it all with our customers and the act of transparency.
All that stuff.
So we fully intend on showing our customers our POAMs, our vulnerability scans, and as we're navigating that on an ongoing basis. So I think through transparency, that's the right way to do it.
Yeah, of course. And, one quick clarification, like it's the IntelliGRC application that went through this. We're not part of some other bundled package.
Nope.
We did this.
Yep, on our own.
On our own.
All employees, W-2s, no foreign developers, no foreign companies, no consultants. We just did it ourselves. And it was a lot of work, but we were happy to drink that Kool-Aid, right?
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's switch gears. I want to talk a little bit about the app features that are coming to the app and have come to the app. I want to make sure that we're capturing probably some of the biggest things that have come in the history of our company and the history of IntelliGRC. We are problem solvers.
Yeah.
The pain. What is
pain
it?
solvers.
Yeah, we experience the pain and then we fix it, right? So let's touch a little bit on the big one, Evan and Alfie. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah. So Evan and Alfie is our first AI tool sets and features that we introduced into the platform. To kind of tell you quickly what they are. So Evan stands for Evidence Analyzer. His job is to take any file, right? It could be pictures, documents, text documents, doesn't matter, even images, and understand which controls are being supported by that file. So it'll suggest the mapping and give you rationales behind that. And then Alfie, in a nutshell, is basically your consultant that will vet any of the evidence, and it also uses a capability that's relatively new in the LLM world of AI called Model Context Protocol, or MCP for short.
Right.
So we built that into our usage of AI, where it takes all the data and context from within your IntelliGRC tenant as context for the AI models to leverage, right? So Alfie's job is to vet evidence, vet your implementation approach, and it'll suggest the status at an objective level or control level. And then it'll write your implementation statements for you and then give you what's called validation methods, where it'll try to map certain files and even reference like section or page numbers of that files as evidence to support that objective, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Evan, I wanted you to touch on that story that you were telling me about not too long ago on something cool you witnessed.
Yeah, so when we were heads down in the development process of Evan and Alfie, we had a really cool experience where, we're used to seeing, or it's much more plausible for like documentation, text, LLMs to read that, maybe use that more efficiently. But one of the things that Evan is really able to do now and do well is image analysis. You know, we we had this one guy on our team, Roberto. Many of you may already know him. Roberto was testing this, and he took a picture of, or found a picture online of like a really secure like conduit cabling system where it was like locked and had metal bars and everything, metal padding and stuff like that.
It was like a DMARC room.
Yeah. It was really locked down, and so he uploaded that. Evan saw that and was like, "Oh, this is good," and it mapped it to the requirement in CMMC. Many of you are familiar with the requirement to protect your supporting infrastructure, right? You make sure that it's protected. So it mapped it to that objective, and then on the other hand, he like took a picture of like a loose cable hanging out of the wall in his like closet at home.
Yeah, from his modem.
Like, his Ethernet cable hanging out of the wall, and uploaded that as evidence. And like, it was like, this is not right. This is not good. Yeah. So, and that ties into Alfie. You know. So tell us a little bit about Alfie and how that works.
Yeah, no. So Alfie, what it does is it takes all of the data from your tenant. That could be like your assets, your scope of your system boundary, relationships of assets to certain data types like CUI or security protection data, what have you. And then it'll also take any other information you have in there. So it'll take all the outcomes from Evan and its parsing and its rationale of any files that it thinks is relevant. And then also it will take data from like any integrations we have, so like benchmark scans and things like that as well. And what it tries to do is evaluate that control and assessment objective and say, I think this is sufficiently meeting the spirit of the intent. Alfie is currently a little strict. It's tuned by that way by default, in that it not only looks for like certain key factors like a mandate from policy, a procedure where it feels like you need to be consistent on what it is you're doing and have the same outcomes, but also operational evidence. And what I mean by that is, like, if you have a policy that says you review your directory accounts once a week, right? And you analyze its permissions and privileges through some RBAC schema approach or what have you. It's looking for that paper trail that, did you do it last week and the week before
that? It wants a record or a screenshot.
So if it can get a taste of that, then it'll say you're implementing it. And we thought about tuning it to be a little bit more forgiving. But at the end of the day, we were like, if it's a consultant, we want it to give you the best advice possible.
Right. And that's the thing. This is part of the disclaimer with Evan and Alfie is, you're looking at an AI tool. It's natural, normal. We're going to always improve it, but it's normal to understand that it will hallucinate, or it will be overly strict or underly strict on
mistakes.
Make mistakes, right? So always review the feedback. It's available in the app now. So always review it. Make sure that it makes sense what it's putting out. But it's been doing an awesome.
It's been pretty consistent so far. We're actually surprised at how consistent it's been. And I think just recently in the last week, in our telemetry, we're able to see that it's the most utilized features now in our product, which is pretty cool.
Because it saves time. That's the point, right? It saves time. Another feature, discussion threads. This is one that I, on the services team, begged for forever, because I didn't want to, track like when I was doing like a POAM development with a company developing the roadmap for implementing the requirements, right? So that they could then get ready and then go for their assessment. When I would do that, I would always have to do it outside the app in like a OneNote.
Yeah.
And now, no longer.
Yeah.
No longer, sir.
Yeah.
We have discussion threads, or like they're similar to like how in Azure DevOps you have those comments for work items, things like that. So they're kind of scattered throughout the apps. You want to add anything to discussion threads?
Yeah, no, I think we all kind of saw the value in discussion threads. I mean, like Steven, I think you were very vocal about needing that functionality, and we understood it, but it speaks really well to our MSP customers as well. An MSP is going to only be able to help their customers through collaboration. Right. Yeah. Naturally, there's going to be, even in the CMMC world, something that their customer is going to have to own and be responsible for, and MSPs are going to have their fair share of responsibilities. So giving them a platform that they can collaborate and communicate with each other, we made sure that it can do things like you can mention each other.
Right.
You get a notification like, hey, could you check this action plan out? Yeah. Or is this evidence sufficient? And we're starting to see a really decent uptick of its usage, and so we're excited to add more and more to it.
Yeah, it's been awesome. We've even been using it for some of our services projects that we have with people. And then there's some updates to the evidence management user experience. Some visual things, and also just ease of use, right?
Yeah, so one thing that Intelli has always done really well, and I'd say like we've had some customers tell us, hey, how did you even know I needed that? I didn't even realize I needed that as badly as I needed it, right? They didn't even realize that there was something that was a pain point.
Deep in it, yeah.
Yeah, and it's because we went through that experience firsthand, right? To feel that pain.
Right.
And so one of them is just all of the things around lifecycle of evidence management, right? So an easy way to maintain mappings, replace files, version files, and then filter and sort through it and say, you know, I've got files here that aren't mapped to controls and objectives. I should probably do something about that, right? So we added a bunch of quality of life improvements there, and it's almost like it's got its own roadmap, but there's a lot more coming with it.
Yeah, it's been awesome, and you know, we did for one of our first JSVAs,
May of 2023.
Yeah, May of 2023 with no help.
Yeah, we did that in 3 months too, 0 to 110.
Yeah, and the evidence management, even its beginning, you know, the birth of it in the IntelliGRC platform, all the way to where it's at now, was all to address the pain we experienced there. So 100%. Yeah, totally. So we've got some upcoming features that we just want to briefly touch on. Huge thing. Alarm bells, alerts, everything. SSO is coming. It's coming.
Finally.
It's finally coming.
Yes.
We'll have single sign-on into your IntelliGRC tenant, so that all of those of you who are concerned about the SPA implications of IntelliGRC and your technical implementations on that front, it'll be greatly reduced because of SSO. You'll 100%. Be able to manage with conditional access policies and things like that. So we're coming there. Another huge thing, we've got the NIST 800-171 Rev 3 and FedRAMP and RMF, all those frameworks, they have a very pesky problem, don't they?
Yeah.
What is that, Ozzie?
Organization defined parameters.
Yes. they're not as pronounced in CMMC. They're there, but they're not as pronounced, and the feature limitations are not as stark. So we are tackling that bear right now. Our developers are on it at this moment.
Yep. Yeah. No. So we knew that with our approach to controls, IntelliGRC, with our intelligent control library, ICL for short, that we wanted to address a way to crosswalk controls, addressing its nuances in the various taxonomies between frameworks. Right. So we don't crosswalk controls, we crosswalk objectives.
Yeah.
And then we have this concept called context overlay, so that you can have an objective as simple as encrypting data at rest for HIPAA, right? But then you map it to CMMC, it says encrypt CUI data at rest using FIPS validated cryptography.
Yeah, there's an overlay.
So that in itself is an ODP, right? Almost. So you have these parameters that you want to be able to track and monitor and granularly track, right? Which then you have the variables on top of that.
Right.
So for example, we're working on the functionality of supporting ODP and ODVs across frameworks. So it's not going to just be exclusive to NIST and CMMC, but we are going to apply that capability across frameworks. The idea is that our AI models and even our logic can pick up on any discrepancies. For example, Evan said your policy document said you guys have 10 character passwords as a minimum character length.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody went into Intelli and answered an interview questionnaire and it said 8 character passwords, right? Maybe our integrations with the benchmark scan rule saw Entra ID configured for 6 character passwords. That's a discrepancy in that parameter, those 3 different variables.
Right.
And so now with this feature we're rolling out, we're going to be able to highlight that discrepancy, ask you to choose what's the authoritative variable,
right,
and then apply it to either groups of assets or to the entire system boundary or to the entire organization.
Right, and that leads into the next upcoming feature.
This one's pretty big.
Bear.
So the bear, I think that the nut that we're trying to crack right now, and it's in development, is shared implementations. This is what we think is the next natural evolution of a customer responsibility matrix or shared responsibility matrix. So the idea is that whether you're an MSP managing multiple client tenants in IntelliGRC, or you're a large enterprise managing multiple business units or divisions in IntelliGRC as separate tenants, we want you to have the ability to tie an implementation, right? And an implementation is for a single objective.
Yeah.
What you're doing and its relationship with certain system components, whether it's a platform like Windows versus Linux, or Cloud Service A versus Cloud Service B. Right. And the idea is that how do you identify who's responsible, which team or individual is responsible for that implementation, so that they can manage the continuous monitoring and the evidence lifecycle for it, but share it to other tenants to inherit and benefit from it.
Right.
In real time too. So let's say somebody falls short and they're responsible for making sure, password complexity is enforced, and it's the Active Directory team, right? A consuming tenant for that identity service provider, if that evidence or conmon task is skipped or for whatever reason negatively impacts the compliance posture, other tenants consuming that shared
Right.
implementation should be made
The
aware.
trickle down will be affected.
100%.
Yeah, they will be aware. Yeah, it's a big one. We don't have all the details yet for how we're going to implement that, but it is there. We've got some really cool plans for it.
Yep.
It's going to also, I think, ultimately replace our CRM
Absolutely.
capabilities in that, because it'll just streamline it. It'll
Agreed.
make it all so much
100%.
better. All right, so let's transition now. There's just really briefly just some reminders about what's going on in the industry. If you were able to see the last town hall, there's been a couple updates on CCAs, CCPs. You guys saw that. We're looking, still under 100 C3PAOs, and you guys know it's well north of 200,000 DIB organizations that need assessments. So, I mean, it looks like people are getting scheduled. They're getting assessed. I think the last time I saw it was around 250 certifications have been handed out, something like that. I can't remember the exact number at this moment, but I mean we're underway.
It's happening.
It's here. It's underway, and obviously everybody knows the 48 CFR. It's final. Obviously, at the time of recording this, we're still about a month and a half out from it going into effect because of the congressional review that's tied to these regulations going into the register. But all that being said, the time for waiting is gone.
No, yeah. If you've already waited this long, it's game over, in my opinion. Like, you're starting too late.
I mean, and it does depend on. It depends on like what your contracts are looking for. But I totally agree with guys in the community like Jacob Horn and stuff like that. We're guys like that. We're looking at the DoD saying here once November 10th kicks off the first phase of the phased rollout, we're looking at all self-assessment requirements being live on any new bids. Or any new contracts, not bids, but on the contract awards, the exercising of any option years, the exercising of any extensions, anything that would be contractually obligated to follow certain register predicated rules, including things like new task orders under a current contract. We're looking at these requirements being in your face. We're not, so all the self-assessment for level 1 and level 2. Now, very small percentage of level 2 of self-assessments assumed right now. It's like 2% the DoD thinks are gonna be eligible for self-assessment, and then everybody else is gonna be certification assessments.
Certifications, So, Steven, let me ask you a question about that, because you're a nerd for these regulations. So for our MSP customers out there, right? These MSPs that are out there that want to offer services to help customers get CMMC compliant, get certified, and maintain it for them. What are some of the dates that are coming up that you think they should be aware of, right? Put on their radar right now.
I mean, the date, I just mentioned it, November 10th is the effective date of of phase 1 going into effect. So all of those level 1, level 2 self-assessment requirements will be live. And what that's going to mean for MSPs or MSSPs or even, maybe staff from cloud service provider organizations, whatever the case may be, the heat's on for them. So as an MSP, if you have customers coming to you needing help getting ready for CMMC, you've also got to know where you're at with CMMC. There's a lot of MSPs, we talk to them all the time, that are heads down on their hands and feet, scrubbing the floor, getting ready for CMMC, doing their, getting their house in order. Right. And we're working with many of them. But your OSCs, they need their SBRS entries in. They need all their ducks in a row for their C3PO assessments that will occur a year after the effective date, which is November 10th. So those certification assessments, best case scenario, will be a year out from the phase 1 kicking off. Now, disclaimer, the DoD reserves the right, always will reserve the right, never has let go of the right to require certification requirements or different elements of other phases earlier than the phased rollout propagates or sets.
How so? If you can explain that real quick.
Well, it would be part of the contractual workflow, right? It would be part of the contract. It would show up in the request for proposals and things like that. But they reserve that right to do so in and up against the phase rollout best case scenario.
Wow. And what have we seen in contracting offices? They always side with the air of caution.
Yeah.
They want to pass the buck on risk and choose the most stringent thing they can choose as a contractual obligation or requirement.
Yeah, unless everybody in their supply chain is not ready.
Yeah.
But that's rare. I mean, normally there's plenty of competition for certain bolts and nuts and things like that.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about a lot of time here to get ready. So for those MSPs, get your house in order. You don't have to have a certification assessment. That was finally cleared up in the 32 CFR
Thank
final
God.
rule. But you do have to be ready to show up to their assessments and answer questions. Make sure they have your CRM. If you don't have one, get one. Start it now, and be ready to prove you've done what you need to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is a big opportunity for the MSP world.
Yeah.
Just at a high level, I was talking to a buddy who's a CISO at a large system integrator, GovCon Prime.
Yeah.
And they were telling me one of their contracts, they had 10,000 tier 1 suppliers that
That's
they were
insane.
flowing CUI elements down to that were marked as CUI. And so they were like, I got to get these small guys through the gate, right? And get them ready. And,
No redaction, right?
and so this is the opportunity that I see for
Yeah.
MSPs, right? I'm like, guys, you guys have an awesome opportunity
Huge
for yourself,
opportunity.
but also more importantly, to help the defense industrial base, right? To meet the mission that we set out to meet with CUI, right?
Right.
And so how do we do that? We've got to get more people out there helping.
Right. Yeah, we're practically begging MSPs, like, even if you don't like use us to help you get ready or anything, like, just please get interested, get focused. We need more MSPs to help our div contractors because other MSPs are walking away.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All right. So a couple other things really quick. We're looking to, be at all these conferences and really be engaged as much as we can. We want people to ask questions. We want people to, hit us up, come to our website, check out our website, say hi to us at the conferences. I'm going to be at some of them, so I'm really excited to just yap with people. I changed my link. Did you see I changed my LinkedIn handle to Chronic Yapper?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it is. So please come chat it up with me. I'd love to see everybody. And again, there's a lot to do. We want people to take this seriously, get help. Don't wait any longer. And if we can help in any way, please let us know. Just another quick note for those of you who have listened to the podcast, the most recent one was with Allison. So please take a listen. She's awesome. Allison Giddens from Wintech. She's the president of, and she's in operations at Wintech. She's been a huge voice for small businesses in the DIB. Do you want to
100%.
say anything about Allison?
No, I mean, Allison, she's been a really big voice, like you said, for the SMB community in the defense industrial base, leading the charge even in the NDI-SAC communities, trying to be that voice of reason of, hey, DOD, we all want to do this. We want to do it right, but we also want to make sure that as a small business, we could survive, right?
Yeah.
So, big kudos to her and all her efforts. I'm excited to check out that podcast.
Yeah, me too. And we have a couple cool ones with some MSP partners of ours that we're going to be excited to record and get out there. So keep on the lookout for all of those things, all of our blogs, posts on LinkedIn, me just yapping with people, just whatever. We really look forward to look out for those things. Well, alas, we have to wrap it up. We had some fun recording this, but I know everybody's got to get back to their normal lives, implementing CMMC and all sorts of stuff. So we really do want to say thanks. Ozzie, you want to say thanks real quick for us?
Just want to say thanks to everybody who's joined our ride and are on our journey with us. Looking forward to keep growing and helping everyone we can.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to do this, obviously, without the support of our customers and our
100%.
partners and the advice that we get from a lot of people, the feedback that we get from a lot of people.
Amazing feedback.
Just so much. I mean, like I said, our roadmap and our inspiration is heavily influenced by you guys. So really, thank you so much for all that. And thank you for watching. We're super excited again for all the stuff coming up and all the features that we're going to be releasing and all the events that we're going to be at. So please, again, come say hi to us. And again, I bid thee farewell.
Thanks, guys. See ya.